We do have a quorum, and we have one item that's on the agenda, and that is the certification of the hiring list for the position of police officer. Is there staff information?
We can just kind of give you the summary that we usually provide. So as you know, we have approval from the commission to kind of just test on an ongoing as needed basis. So as a list gets exhausted, we immediately initiate a process to do a new test and generate a new list. So we had certified a list in September of 25. That list was exhausted, so we went ahead and published an application deadline for the next testing cycle. I think the application deadline was mid-January.
The 16th.
And so we started with a applicant pool of 60 applications. And again, the bulk of those were submitted from the certification of our last list. We didn't get 60 applications in January. You can apply immediately. We're always accepting applications now. So Tracy reached out to everyone who submitted an application prior to the announcement, confirmed who was still interested. A lot of folks' plans changed since they've applied, and so that group always shrinks significantly. But we ended up administering the post test, which is the written test, to 13 individuals. 11 individuals were administered the physical fitness test. There would be some folks who could potentially have been eligible to not have to repeat either of those if they had a passing post test on file, or if they had recently completed the PT test with another law enforcement agency and we were able to get verification of those results. We also don't require certified officers to complete the post or the PT. They are eligible to proceed immediately to the interview phase. So following all of the testing, we had 10 folks who were eligible and confirmed their interest in proceeding with an interview. And following interviews early last week, we ended up with, we're bringing to you a certified list that has 5 names. We'll point out that one person that participated in the interviews did withdraw afterwards due to personal reasons. Anyway, from the interview pool of 5, you have a list of 5 names that are being recommended to you today. And if you have any questions, we'll do our best to answer them.
Okay. Any questions from the commission? Okay. How far back does the applications, you may have said this, but January 16th was the close date. How far back did those applications go?
They would have gone back to basically the application deadline for the prior test. So probably August. I don't have the exact date.
Okay.
Yeah.
August of 25?
Of 25, right. So we certified the last list in early September of 25, I believe.
Okay. And are there any issues or concerns where we might want to consider changing the process in any way?
No, I'm happy with the way I think we're at an advantage because we are always accepting applications. The downside of that is sometimes it'll be several months between the time a person applies and then they get to the process. So I think that's why we see, only 14 people or whatever taking the post. I wonder if some of those people, do you get a sense that maybe some people never had any real interest in?
It's very possible because when I reach out to folks prior to announcing the application deadline, usually we only hear from about half who are saying, yes, I'm interested, and the other half we just don't hear from at all. So,
and I can tell you just in past processes with either my former agency and I think anyone who goes through this knows almost every stage of the process cuts your applications by half. It's just uncanny.
Yeah.
You have X amount of people apply. Half of those people will end up testing. Half of those people will pass. It gets carved down pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So I am really happy with our process. Again, I think it puts it at an advantage. If you remember the old process, we had a very finite period of time to apply, and then we would have one date where you could take the written test. HR works really hard to make sure they can accommodate as many people as possible, including doing one-off tests for people if they need to. So we're really appreciative of the way the process is going. It's just kind of the status of law enforcement not even exclusive to law enforcement. I think everyone's having a hard time getting good applicants, but it's been this way for quite some time with law enforcement.
I would say under our prior process, right, where we were testing like maybe once a year and we would do all the recruiting and all of the things, all the advertising. Even then, we were really only seeing about 60% of the submitted applications that were submitted within a finite period of time, like within a 3 or 4 week window. We would consistently plan on testing about 60% of them. And that statistic has held true for 20 plus years, right? I mean, it's not unusual to have folks submit an application and then for whatever reason not actually follow through with it. So we see it a lot. We see it for other positions. Sometimes folks that are just kind of looking go through and they literally click the apply box for everything that we have posted at a certain time. So it's not completely surprising. And we do still advertise, like when we knew that we were going to go ahead and schedule a testing cycle, we advertise. We put out press release, we advertise. So it's not like we're just dealing with what trickled in over the last 4 months. We still try to get the word out. We're getting ready to actually conduct a test. And probably a decent portion of these folks are folks who were either monitoring that or even submitted during this window.
Do you notice an uptick once you announce the date?
A small uptick. I think we had maybe 12 to 15 people apply once we announced the application deadline.
Last question I have is just clarification on the applications received. If somebody were to withdraw their application, let you know I got hired somewhere else, would that be included in that number? It would
Yes.
be. Okay.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Okay, do we have a motion to certify the hiring list for the position of police officer for the city of Iowa City?
Motion it.
Second. Motion by Mr. Fay, second by Ms. Jensen. All in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. Motion passes. Any other discussion or subjects we'd like to talk about? Okay, do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
And moved and second. Motion passes, and we are adjourned at
Signatures.
Yes, please.
9:38.
Healthy discussion and still done in less than 10 minutes, right?